What's up, man? As always,
before
we get into our next guest, I should say, we have to give our respects to our previous guest.
Yeah,
so
man.
Shout out Kiki Smooth.
Dude.
That dude brought the energy.
Woo.
That dude brought it.
I love how you were
awesome.
like trying to tell him how to like, approach the mic, and he's looking at you like, are you serious, bro?
I know, right? He's like, I got that.
He's like, I'm a rapper, bro. Like, really? You're going to come at me like that?
I know.
I'm like, yeah, man. Like, he's like, I know how to do this, man. I've done like lots of interviews. I'm like, dude, this guy went out to tour with Coolio, and
I know.
Rojo's over here like, hey,
I'm over here trying to tell you,
you got to come up to the mic, bro. You got like right there. I'm like, yo.
5 inches.
I'm like, this cat done a gang of interviews with a gang of people, bro.
I was just trying to make sure, but
no big deal. All over the world traveler in front of microphones. And
that was my bad, Kiki.
Sorry, Kiki.
It's all good though. But big shout out to you, man. Recognized as the first Mexican rapper out of Compton.
That's right. That's dope, man.
Had some great stories. The whole story about Coolio, and I find it very surprising that when he said that he can't find any video footage of any of the concerts that he DJ'd.
I know.
There's like none around, and I kept looking.
We should find something for him.
I'm trying.
Yeah, we should probably go into. We have some connections on that, dude. Like, I found some old stuff from me, and I'm not even gonna bring it up, like DJing like on hip hop stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I did some touring stuff, but pretty crazy that he can't find his Coolio. I mean, damn, I didn't DJ for Coolio, but like, can still find mine.
That was
from 2006.
The way he connected with him, it was just pretty
That's
awesome.
That's dope, though. That is
pretty
dope.
Awesome
head on over to our YouTube channel and check that out, man. It is very cool to hear Kiki's story. And, we were surprised that he came in the studio. He was really nice. We brought some breakfast burritos, and we'll get into that, too, because that was pretty awesome, right?
Yep. And then, as you mentioned, so thanks to our sponsors of the show,
of course.
Café del Cid. Go to delcidcafe.com and use promo code _media to get your discount. Also, shout out to our other sponsor, Upland Nutrition, which is out in Upland, obviously.
Right.
And if you're a workout fanatic, go and get your protein shakes from there, your hydration drinks, your protein waffles, your protein donuts.
I have yet to.
As I've always said, they're delicious. I'm telling you right now, I guarantee it. And then
also, huge thank you to our partner in crime, and of course the guy that does all the stuff for our production these days, 3P Studio, which we get to use here. Big shout out to Andy Q. He does a wonderful job here in this, and also did a great job on the piece that we just posted on our YouTube channel at Tapped In Media.
Correct.
Head on over there, hit a like and subscribe with it. That'd be really cool, because he did some really good work with that. Man, that was a very awesome trip, right? With that was cool. The Inglewood Farmers Market. We got a chance to do it. I was a little rusty on my mic work, but I still got to play it down. I mean, it was pretty. Cool.
It was a good.
Big shout out to Andy Q. We appreciate you, brother.
It was a good experience.
And the new sponsor.
Man. Shout out to our guy, to our dude, Javier, owner of Taco Bout Good, not Taco Bell, Taco Bout Good, in the city of Upland. So make sure if you guys are in the area, make sure you guys go hit up a spot.
Yes.
Really great tacos, delicious tacos. Whatever meat you want, buche, carnitas, pastor.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got it all. Tri-tip also. The shrimp.
The
queso shrimp
keto
one.
shrimp tacos are cracking.
You all about that keto. Yeah.
You got to get on that right now.
His salsas are good. So make sure you guys go check him
Big
out.
love.
Go and show, go and support his business. Thank you so much for doing that announcement this past time with during Kiki's interview. Actually,
that was dope
about sponsoring. So thank you, man. Really appreciate that. Tremendously. It's a blessing. We got a lot of things going on for ourselves.
For sure, man.
So
moving on,
as
we always do.
Our next guest,
yes,
which is our second female.
Right, because we had hers, and then that's it, right?
That's it.
So here we go.
We fell off. So huge shout out to her. When you talk about the struggles growing up without guidance and still managing to find a way out and building her own success from nothing and now advocating for the voiceless, please welcome Cindy Esarcega.
Yeah.
I got that right.
Me.
You got it right, bro. You got it right. Big shout out.
I thought about
Rojo.
Sega right at the end.
I had to have him do it, because I was like, it's probably better that you do it, because I know I'm gonna screw it up big time, man.
I mean, it only took like 2.5 days to figure out her last name.
We were going back and forth on it. I'm like, damn, we're gonna mess it up, right?
You wouldn't be the first person to mess it up. So
I mean,
well, thanks for coming all the way out. We really appreciate it. We know that we always hear the last few guests that we've had on. They've always like, man, I came out here. It took me like an hour and a half. I'm like, damn,
I feel bad.
So sorry.
It's almost like we need like petty money for like gas money.
Oh, I know. Like we should do something like that, right?
Petty cash.
Yeah, like petty. Yeah, like
We need petty cash. There we go.
yeah.
We need to put
Not a
like
bad idea
we
there,
need to
bro.
put like a GoFundMe for gas money
There we go.
for each of our
Only
guests.
for our guests,
Only
right?
for our guests.
It's not a bad idea,
That
man.
would be dope.
Well,
Just saying.
just so we can be like, we're gonna give it back a little bit. Sorry, but thanks for coming all the way out. That's really cool.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I know it's a long way.
It's a
from there.
long way, right? So tell us, how far did you come from today?
I came from Watts.
Watts, yeah, and we were looking at your stuff. We had a chance to go over some of the things, and we are definitely going to talk about what you're doing over at the Urban Lens Gallery. We want to go over that eventually too. Like
right.
we did see some of that stuff, and we saw a story that they wrote on you. It was it was in the Voyage LA, I think was, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what well, shout out to Renee, the Poet King, who's in the building today, right? So we'll give him applause on that too, you know.
Woo, woo,
Yeah,
woo,
for sure.
And he's the reason for
Yep, no doubt.
our plugs right here with our
Renee,
guests.
Renee's right here with us as well. So big shout out to him. But he put us through to you on this and the project that you're doing, which we definitely want to talk about because it's why we were interested.
All
When he sent us your stuff, we're like, okay, and you're a photographer
And I'm a speech therapist.
and a
And a
speech
speech
therapist.
therapist.
Man, give us a little bit of background of you, and then what you're doing with these projects, and go from there.
All right. Well, my day job is speech therapist, and that's how I kind of got first started into the community. My dad was a photographer, so that was kind of how I got into photography in the first place. Back in the day, I used to have to carry all his equipment. He used to do weddings and all kinds of stuff, and
Put in the work.
everything was like, had to carry all the equipment.
Big old cameras
Yeah,
too.
big old cameras, tripods, all the things. And then, so I'm in the area. That's where I work. And I just got into photography because I wanted to show a different part of what I experience when I'm in the community.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up kind of near it. I grew up in Compton. My dad when my parents got divorced, he moved all around the place. So I was kind of more, just within the area. But that's how I started getting it. And then, the changes of everything that's going on right there in Jordantown's housing projects and wanting to document the families, the community, and how things are getting affected. So that's how I started my photography work. And then from that came my picture project, which was kind of like teaching kids how to like take pictures from their perspective of their community, kind of like a self-development, self-awareness of critiquing their own like environment, but also, I want to kind of cultivate them being proud of where they come from.
For sure.
I feel like I'm proud of where I came from, and I feel like it's made me for everything I am. And so it kind of would upset me when some kids would get like, oh, I live in the ghetto, or, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I'd be like, man, we got to be proud of where we come from because we need to be the ones that stand up for our community.
True.
So that's how I kind of started the picture projects, because I wanted to use kind of photography as a means to kind of tell their story, like tell how they perceive their community.
And what you're referring to is the My Picture Project, which is on Instagram at @my_picture project. And you can see a lot of the stuff that you do for that.
That's your startup, right?
That,
right?
Yeah. I kind of had to put it on hold for a little bit. I had a baby, and so it was, yeah.
that happens.
Yeah,
There it goes. Life.
I have 4
Oh,
kids.
imagine that.
so-
4
kids.
kids. So you're busy.
Yeah.
And you're doing this project.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And she's a speech therapist.
and you're a speech therapist.
Yeah, and then I got involved with the Urban Lens with
Yeah.
Renee and that.
Yeah,
group.
that we saw that too. But I still want to, we're still talking about this picture project. I mean, working with your dad, so it had to lead into you just seeing this stuff in the community, and you just were drawn to why so specifically the Jordan Downs community.
Well, when I was growing up, there was a lot of in general the housing community, projects.
Just housing projects overall.
Oh yeah,
Gotcha.
like I grew up kind of by Compton and Gardena, and so like you don't go to the projects, blah blah blah. You only go there to get drugs or sell
Yeah,
drugs
right,
or
right.
whatever,
And then
So-
even then, you need certain access to get
exactly.
to these places.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
you can't
doubt.
just
Yeah.
walk up in there,
Exactly.
So when I started working there and I started talking to people and getting to know people, and I was like, it is not like that at all. Like only maybe if you like look a certain way, you're trying to go in there to start something. But if you're actually just going in there to help or to do, you get like a different a different vibe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Do you find that the kids appreciate it, like that you come and you teach them things like this, like that, you know, because
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I work with kids that, you know, are on the spectrum.
right,
And so, like, you know, I'm in there in an intimate setting with their families.
of course.
So I get to have these like relationships with the families and with the kids. And then when I start understanding more of their story, then I wanted to change the narrative of like really like what it's like to grow up there and like what they experience. And there was a real strong sense of community. So that's how I kind of got involved with wanting to more portray like everything that's happening right there with, you know, with it being revitalized, and we'll call it. So I think that's where that connection with the kids came in.
Yeah. I can see that in your work too, because you have a lot of black and white work posted, and it's pretty cool. I mean, just looking some of your history, you know, like just looking back at it. I mean, was it kind of your goal to go with that look? Because it just that you know, that older look, or like
Yeah.
just
Is
that
there something
kind of raw
that
look?
just brings out? I mean, I guess you could say when you do see a black and white picture, I feel like it does bring out some sort of emotion to it.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
it's a nostalgic
Yeah.
kind of look.
Yeah, it feels that way.
And because it hasn't really been touched since when it was first born, first built, all those housing projects, right? They've never really been, unless they've been knocked down.
Right. So there was one that you have in there, but there is a couple that they're doing demo. I mean, were they rebuilding, or were those people displaced? And
Some are displaced.
And
so
that's it.
yeah. So I mean,
what do they do?
I could
Would you happen to
I could have a
know?
whole podcast on that one.
Oh wow! Well, give us a little bit now. Like, what do they
Yeah.
do with people that get displaced? You know, at that time for something that happens like that, because you've captured some footage like that, and you could check that on Instagram at #JordanDowns history, the making.
Yeah.
In the making, right? So I saw some of that, and you know, I see that you captured it, and these things are just being leveled. Where
Yeah.
did they go?
Well, my biggest thing is because I work with kids, right? So I wanted to capture how kids can have fun out of nothing. How kids can like really like just like play in the way the housing projects are, you know, kind of structured, so the kids can go outside and just play with each other. So that's a big reason why I captured it the way I did, because I wanted to capture like the way it brings community out. You know, and so with that is being kind of erased with the demolition that's going on. They kind of call it like revitalization, that it's going to be better for the community, but it's really not. So
I see that, and you know, there's a lot that you have put on, and I'm looking at your picture that you have, like, of the cops standing in front of it and like look like trying to push people out. Do you see a lot of that too, like the resistance of people trying to, you know, that they're clearing out the space, right?
well, there's always kind of that relationship of oppressor with cops and an unnecessary sometimes force and use of intimidation. And that's pretty common in most Black and brown communities. So I feel like that was just a moment that I really needed to highlight. That was happening at a community event, you know. So that was just a community event. There was something that happened kind of down the street. The cops responded to that, and it became like an unnecessary use of force. And so that's where I wanted to capture in that particular picture. But that's been the history of most of these communities.
Nice.
The picture that I decided to go with, like, to post about like her being on our podcast,
right.
I was like, I have to go with this one. Just that you sitting in that chair, and in the background is basically a broken down, what is it, an apartment?
It's a unit, I guess.
Yeah, it's a unit. So I'm like, dude, that's a strong picture. I'm like, it's perfect for what, you know, who she is and what she's doing. So I'm like, I'm going to utilize that one. I'm like, to me, that picture is just like, says so many things as to like what's going on over there as well. So
and then I think in the background you could see kind of the newer buildings.
Kind of.
I think so.
I
not.
didn't see
Yeah,
that.
you can. Yeah,
In the corner.
it's further back. Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah,
it's
yeah,
gated.
yeah, gotcha.
It's gated. So I didn't even know that they were already trying to gentrify that area.
It's super fast. It's really fast.
Man,
to
these
tear
guys
it
don't play
down.
around. They just get in and wipe it out, huh? That's that, right?
Yeah.
That's insane.
And the
man.
thing is, though, so they move people around, you know, so like they move them out to have that whole building vacant, and they move them into different units. And so they're temporarily in another unit until they can move them into their assigned new unit. But the problem is, a lot of these new units, because they're built so fast, there's all these issues with them. Like they're falling apart, there's a leak and it starts flooding the whole, so there's not a lot of oversight in terms of like how well the construction is being done. And then there's things like simple things like when I talk to the community, there's electric washer and dryers that causes their electricity bill to go up through the roof.
Oh my God.
And they're all like lower income. So
of course,
them not being able to pay that, there's like other structures that are put in place for them to eventually be rooted out. So there's different housing developments that are owners of the construction. The housing authority actually owns the land, but there's two different like construction build, I don't know how you call it, but they actually own the buildings. So there's different rules. So I think the biggest issue is like when I first started working there, or when I first was into the community, it hadn't really started yet. A portion of it has started. And there's so much community there. It's like a very little like ecosystem.
Gotcha.
Everybody depends on each other. Someone's incarcerated, then their cousins down the street, their kids can go there.
No doubt.
And these systems that are in place are now being destroyed because of what's happening.
Right.
So people are not playing outside. The kids aren't playing outside anymore. Their cousins are now in a whole different unit. There's now a street, the Century that goes through, that didn't go through before. So kids can't cross the street. So there's all these different things that are being put in place that is kind of breaking up the systems, the family systems, and moving new people in.
Oh, a complete change within the neighborhood. That's cool, Cindy, that you do. You go out there and help these kids out, like do new things despite having everything that's surrounding them, like that downfall of like losing their home and things like that. And you're teaching them something.
There's a lot of that
new.
going on.
Yeah.
A lot of it
in a lot of minority cities.
Yes,
absolutely,
including here.
Yeah, for sure.
City
Right here in
Pomona.
Pomona. Yeah, we record in Pomona. It happens all the time out here as well. So
We see the changes that are going on,
for sure,
for better or for worse. That's kind of like I mentioned last time. It's a double-edged sword.
Oh yeah,
in some ways.
Oh yeah.
Because some of these cities have such a rich history of what they had, and only to bring in these new complexes is kind of just it tarnishes all that history.
Exactly.
Stack apartments.
That what they had, like Highland Park. To me, Highland Park is, that was my I have family that grew up over there. Highland Park is not really what Highland Park is anymore. It's, microbreweries, coffee shops,
all the
Coffee shops.
changes.
Yeah.
Again, for better or for worse. I mean, you just
It's hard to tell.
yeah. But I want to take it back just a little bit about your personal life. Obviously, there's a reason why you wanted to get more in depth with in help out this community as well as other communities. So I want to get more about your personal life. I know you mentioned that your mom is very artsy, and then you also mentioned that you used to help your dad, when he was doing his photography and everything. So obviously, that's where you kind of get your creativity, that passion for photography, because so it came from somewhere. But would you say that you had this upbringing of like what your parents being that they were, one of them was very artsy, one of them was a photographer? Were they the cool type of parents where they like try to guide you, or what kind of household did you actually come from?
Well, my mom is Japanese and my dad is Mexican.
Interesting.
So, it was a little bit interesting.
Total curveball right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was very interesting because it was like a whole different. Both of them had very different views and dynamics with their worldview and perspective. I don't even know how they got together, to be honest.
How did they meet, if you don't mind me asking?
I think they met at a club. I think I was kind of like a mistake.
Come on.
Not in that way, but it's like, oops, I'm pregnant. So like, let's get married and like figure this out as we go, but I don't think they ever should have really been meant to be together.
Interesting.
Yeah, no doubt.
My dad he's not a very good person.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I feel like they were both kind of consumed with maybe what was going on with their relationship or what was not going on in their relationship and their own personal struggles. So I think, the addition of me being there, I am an only child.
Okay.
So I think the addition of me being there and kind of adding another element of stress, I don't feel like it really it really worked in that dynamic with so I mean, to answer your kind of question, I wouldn't say any of them really spent a lot of time in like cultivating any of like artsy of any kind of that with me.
So
it was kind of just me raising myself.
Damn. Okay. So you would say that your parents really weren't there for you. It was more absent type of parents.
Yeah. I think my mom tried to be there in her own way. But it wasn't like in a way that I think that most kids like really need to feel accepted. And, you know, she has her own, I guess, traumas from, you know, how she grew up and that were never dealt with. And, you know, like it's like a generational curse. If you're not dealing with it, if you're not taking care of it, then, you know, eventually you're bound to kind of have the same kind of effect.
I feel like a lot of our parents dealt with the same thing and brought it with themselves. And then that's all they knew. Mm-hmm. And that's how they raised us, you know, because I was mentioning earlier. Yeah. And I know I've repeated this many times in some of our other last, you know,
past interviews.
Yeah. Where, you know, again, my mom, I mean, her dad was an alcoholic, very abusive. So I feel like maybe that's where my mom kind of got that from. I don't know. But my mom also became a drug addict and was very, very aggressively abusive. And just, she would beat the shit out of us. Like, it was every day, constant. Wow. You know, so yeah, I get it. I think it does come from that whole generational thing where they probably grew up the same way. Yeah. That's all they knew. And that's what they brought on to us.
Right.
You know, so, but you growing up with your parents, obviously no guidance. What was it like for you as a adolescent growing up?
Well, I think like I spent a lot of time playing outside and playing with, the kids in my neighborhood who we all had similar situations or similar stories, similar households. So, you know, when you start realizing, oh, my story is not unique. Like these other kids are having the same story. Then you like kind of bond in a way. Mm-hmm. So some of these kids end up, you know, joining gangs and, you know, and that's what you grow up and you think like, oh, that's what I should do. You know, I have family members who are gang members, were gang members. So like you grow up in the hood and then you think like, oh, okay, well, this is kind of like, you know,
that's what I should be doing.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. This is kind of like, you know, I grew up with these kids and we all kind of grew up together. So like, you know, why not kind of thing, you know?
That's what you thought maybe I could fit in with them.
Kind of.
Like acceptance?
Yeah, acceptance, fitting in, finding something like, you know, like I didn't really feel like I was accepted in my family. So finding, you know, acceptance with your peers, you know, we all kind of had similar stories. So, you know, that's where that kind of came in, you know, and started like kind of dating those kind of guys, you know. Right. And then when, like we were saying, we grow up in households that are traumatic or are mentally, physically abusive, you know, our brains get adapted to that kind of stress, fight or flight chemicals. I studied this in school as well. So your brains start releasing like cortisol, or fight and flight, and so you start getting used to those kind of responses. Your brain thinks it's normal. It starts wanting those kind of like, it kind of is like looking for that kind of like a drug, you know.
Interesting. So so you're saying that our brain starts looking for that madness,
kind of in some way, because our brains are so used to like those systems being activated. So when, you know, when things are kind of like slower or, you know, they're kind of boring, you know, so we end up kind of like all kind of looking for it's not like purposely, it's like how our brains are wired, you know. And then when you grow up in areas where that's so normalized, you know, like I started dating those kind of guys. So I started repeating the pattern basically.
You got involved with gangs though, right? In a sense?
Well, yeah, while I was dating guys.
You were dating guys.
Yeah,
okay.
At like 14, 12, you know.
That were in the gangs.
That were in gangs,
locally, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. So I started, like, my first boyfriend, I was 14, and he's from Gardena 13.
Okay.
And so, you know, so at that point, all his family's from there. So, you know, So
and all the ties that they have to that.
Yeah,
exactly. The history in that too.
Exactly.
Man, that's always the hardest part though, right? Growing up in that area, like just, you feel like you fall into it. Because we were talking to Johnny from Chicano Hollywood. And he kind of like said the same thing too, like, because he grew up, his family were all cholos.
Yeah.
And he wasn't a cholo, but
he was getting involved in it.
Right.
And then when he realized, like, this is
not my thing. Yeah. But he was just trying to do the same thing. Just, I'm trying to hang around just for acceptance, like, because that's my whole family. Like, I'm just hanging out, like, but you kind of do that thing, I guess, because you're surrounded by it. You know what I mean? What else you gonna do? Like, that's all you see around you. Like,
and then I'm gonna assume this, but because there is that where you were probably just trying to find somebody that you can lean on. You were looking for that man you can lean on. So
like a father figure.
Like a father figure. And that's usually the case, which is unfortunate, for a lot of these young girls, growing up without their father, even though their father might be in the picture, but just not, there.
Yeah.
They end up finding it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. And that's kind of like what you ended up trying to do.
Exactly.
And getting caught up with that gang life.
Yeah, exactly. And in that relationship, he wasn't like the greatest to me. So like, he would like be very controlling and jealous and sometimes hit me. And then I would hit him back and we would actually fight. Like we would fight. Like I would fight him like a guy. Right? Yeah. Because I was like, fuck that.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
And so
I ain't gonna let up.
Yeah. So it just and then it became hard to even leave that kind of relationship. It took a while to leave that relationship.
It's the same repeated cycle where women want to leave it, don't know how to leave it, prefer to stay
or get
because they think get threatened,
or
they say like, so I'm sorry, this and that, and it's like le lavan el coco otra vez, and there they are, still staying with the same douchebag.
Exactly.
When you work in the community, like with some of these kids, do they ever like express anything like that to you, like with their own mothers or anything that they see in their times, like abuse or anything like that? Do you ever hear anything like that?
No, not really. No, I just have some families that, just like somebody's incarcerated or like the kids are with grandma, something like that. But for the most part, the kids they're receiving services because somebody is like a family member is advocating for them. Like a family member is really actually concerned about like a speech delay or something like that. Or, even if it's just they just want the free services, that's fine too. Yeah. But I mean, they're still making a point to like actually do something that's beneficial for the kid. So I don't actually see that with a lot of my clients, but maybe, a neighbor or something like that, but that's not within like my control in terms of like, I'm still a mandated reporter, but I'm not in the home. I'm not like a social worker in the neighbor's home or something to actually know what's going on in that house.
Man, that's a lot.
Okay. So you again, you got involved with, men that were involved in gangs, and then you dropped out of high school?
Yeah.
Dropped out of high school, and then you got pregnant, right?
Yeah. So I end up, a whole different story, but I end up getting involved with a different guy from a different neighborhood, end up being T-Flats.
Oh,
and
all right. Damn.
Yeah, they're a whole different neighborhood, and they kind of were not really getting along with. So he would come pick me up in my hood, and they would tell me like, hey, we love you. The people I grew up with, they'd be like, we love you. So, we're not going to do anything when he comes pick you up because that's potentially you're in the car.
Yeah.
Right.
But anything on the street when he leaves, that's
it's
fair game.
Yeah.
That's fair game. So he actually got shot, and he was on life support. So he got shot in front of his mom. He was at in
front of his mom?
Yeah, I think at that point we had been together for quite a few years, and it had always been rocky, and he was in and out of jail. We were...
Didn't have any kids with him, did you?
That's my son's dad.
Oh, that's your son's
dad. That's her first kid.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and so...
this is your son that's now in
23.
college, right?
Mm-hmm, he's in college. And so, I will tell you that fool is a G. Like he had gotten shot a bunch of different times.
Oh damn!
Damn.
Yeah, and then,
somebody had it out for him.
Yeah, he was always, I don't know. He was always getting into it, and you know, we even had one time where we were partying back in his neighborhood, and the cops raided that house, and we had the helicopters out on us. We had to come out in the middle of the street with our hands up and then put our, you know, be in the middle of the street, and they were, at this time I was like 16 or 17.
Wow.
And then when he got shot, it was a family member's house. It was like a party, like a baby's birthday party or something.
Family
party.
backyard boogie.
But not a backyard boogie, because it was
just
like
a backyard family party.
Yeah, family party. So it was his family, you know, like yeah. And then what happened is a neighborhood went in, and they rolled up next to him, and they asked him like where he was from, and then he said like where he's from. And then they started shooting at the car at almost like point blank range. His mom came out, she started screaming, and then they kept shooting as they were driving away, and they almost shot her, but she fainted.
Damn.
So she passed out, and he got shot twice in the neck, and then he survived. Part of the bullet took off part of his face.
Damn.
And then he put his elbow up like this, and then when his elbow went up, the one bullet shattered his elbow, and it shattered and it turned, and then that's the one that went to his face. And then so he was in life support for a month. He was in a medically induced coma. We didn't think he was gonna make it.
I can't. And wait, he didn't make, or he did make it.
He did make it. Yeah, he made it, and I got pregnant after that.
Oh man, that's insane.
But I kind of, at that point, that's where I stopped going to school, because I was in school, but I was kind of like already not really going.
Mm-hmm.
But then when that happened, I just wanted to be at the hospital all the time. So
of course.
I didn't. That's kind of like the turning point of when I dropped out, because I started being at the hospital taking care of him. And then when he got released from the hospital, I would like suction out his like he had like a breathing tube.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would help suction him out and stuff like that. So then at that point, I just dropped out of school. I just I wasn't even really going in the first place. So
you just
put things on
decided
hold.
to become a devoted 24/7 nurse.
I was, pretty much.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
That must have been really hard at that age.
And I was 17.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're 17 years old. You know, you're pregnant, right?
I got pregnant a year after. I got pregnant when I was like 18.
Yeah. So you have all this coming up, and then, he gets shot, and now you're taking care of him, and you're dropping out of school. That's a lot to take on. I mean,
there's a baby on the way.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
And all before you're even 18.
Yeah.
And
like your mind's not even
no
trying to, like, you're just trying to figure yourself out at 18.
For sure.
Let alone taking care of a man who just is basically almost died.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And now you have a baby
mm-hmm.
on the way. That must have been like scary. Not only scary, but like anxiety must have been kicking in. Stress, obviously.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe depression. I mean.
Yeah. Depression. Just, I think more like just scared, not knowing, and at this point he couldn't really get a real job. So he was still selling drugs. And so I think that was a big point too. Like I was working a regular job, but like that was his only kind of way at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is like a level of PTSD of not knowing like what his future's like going to be like, how I'm going to raise his kid in this kind of environment.
And then not only that, having to figure out how he's going to come out of it mentally.
Yeah. And he would have, he never really got mental health care for after that, but he had serious some
PTSD.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
He would tell me his stories about how he kind of died for a minute or two, and had to revive him.
Whoa.
And so he kind of would tell me about, like, he had a cousin that his cousin got shot in the back of the head. And so he would tell me that when he died, he felt his cousin hugging him. Oh my God, I'm gonna get emotional. But he felt like his cousin hugging him, and he saw like a white light that was like, it's okay to come. It's okay. And he said that then he doesn't remember anything after that. And he would wake up in the middle of the night, like with night terrors and sweating. And he would like, I was supposed to go. I was supposed to die, and he felt like it was almost like a final destination. Like he felt like death was chasing
like
him.
It was his time, and he cheated it, huh?
And he cheated it, and so he kind of like lived with a lot of internal kind of like this like fear, or like this. I don't even know how to describe it. He just felt like every day he wasn't sure if it was going to be his last day.
Right. Okay.
And so
he always had premonitions, maybe.
Yeah, and it was really hard for me to live with that, you know.
Oh, I can only imagine.
And then, you know, trying to take care of the baby and trying to like just figure out how to get food on the table and work and all these things, just everyday life, and then having to, you know, have his mental health. It was really hard, you know. It was really hard. He wasn't talking about it or dealing with it. And so I couldn't even put myself in any kind of position to help him because he wouldn't talk about it. So it was really hard. And then there was times where he would get like really violent, and not only with in our arguments, but it just in general, he would just pop off on people on the street and get in fights with just random people off the street.
That's the trauma and the PTSD.
Exactly. That's just his anger would just go.
It's like somebody who just came back from war.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. And so like it was just to a point where I was like, he got in even after he got shot and he was still recovering, he got into some shit again. And then I was just like, bro, like I can't, like our house got raided. Our house got raided by LAPD. The baby was like maybe 4 months old, 6 months old or something. And so I was just like, I cannot raise a baby in this kind of environment. And so even just breaking up with him was like a whole big, like it was, you know, I had to get a restraining order. It was just all bad too.
So I want to get more into that as far as like, well, you know, to the point where you ended up leaving him 18 years old, single mother.
Yeah.
You know, what did you try and do to figure yourself out? Because obviously it was not going to be an easy way out, especially after dealing with that.
It's always hard when you're leaving somebody and you've went through so much stuff with them, you know, like found myself questioning a lot too, is this the right thing to do? But I knew it was the right thing to do because I didn't want to like repeat that cycle of my son kind of growing up in that same environment as well. So I knew I couldn't really depend on him. He, you know, I couldn't depend on him much financially and emotionally. So I just had to, I'm grateful for his family. I've always been still to this day close to his family. I have a lot of respect for him. You know, he is a very good person. I think he grew up, he had a lot of trauma growing up, a lot of trauma. He came here undocumented when he was 7 and trying to escape a lot of violence that he experienced in Sinaloa.
Oh, so he grew up in Sinaloa.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so anyways, I just think that, you know, I just had to at that point realize that I needed to be, you know, I needed to be the strong one for my kid, you know, that nobody else was going to do it. And so I ended up actually moving in with his family in the projects for a little bit. I didn't have anywhere to go. So, I mean, my mom had kicked me out. I don't have a good relationship at all with my dad.
Is that still till this day?
My dad, I don't talk to at all.
And your mom,
I do not like my dad. I just have no respect for that man.
Okay.
Is there a reason for that, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't mind you asking.
I don't want to divert you from what the actual, you know, discussion, but I kind of want to know.
Yeah, bro, you're prying, bro. I'm just kidding. What? Sorry.
Ignore him.
I'm just playing.
Well, you know, I mean, there was that abusive relationship that I grew up with. Mm-hmm. He was mentally abusive. He's very narcissistic. And I feel like he really takes pleasure in like, in feeling like he can control others and that manipulation. And, you know, so he did molest me when I was a kid. Oh. And I had he had
This is the same guy that influenced you on your creativity, your photography.
Yeah. And he just did, you know, he's just a horrible. When my mom and dad were going through a divorce, he tried to make her life a living hell. And there was even points where I remember me and her would be sleeping, and he went upstairs. He moved upstairs. So there's a 2-bedroom house that my mom had from my grandparents. And he would be upstairs and he would bring women upstairs.
What the fuck?
And when me and my mom were downstairs.
No way.
And there was even one point when they were going through the divorce that he tried to break into my mom's to the room when I was sleeping there, and he tried to rape my mom.
What?
And so
Does your mom know that he molested you? Or?
I did ask her about it, and she said, "Oh, you know what? There was some questionable things that like I remember.
Questionable things.
Like
yeah, I
like
mean,
waking, like you would wake up in the morning, your shirt was backwards or your shirt was the wrong way, and things like that."
How old were you?
7. And
hell no.
But then she like deflected. And she was like, "But you know, he loved you. Your dad loved you. I don't think he would do that to you." And
that's not love, though, right?
And so that's kind of where my mom is in terms of where she's always been in terms of
your mom came from Japan, or was she was actually
she was born in Hawaii.
Okay.
She was like the middle of 8 kids.
Oh, big old family.
Wow. My dad is like, I don't know, the 4th of 10. Yeah, so
both of them come from big families.
Yeah,
okay.
so both of them come from big families.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
So like, my dad, he just has like some issue. You know, obviously has some issues, and it didn't come out until later. I was trying to like reconnect because I felt like I needed to heal that father wound.
Yeah.
I felt like all my relationships were like really bad and really abusive.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, I was going through a divorce with my ex-husband. And which was another like abusive relationship. And so I was like, you know what, I'm tired of this. I had daughters at that point, and I was like, I just need to do something better for myself. And maybe that's connecting with my dad. Maybe that's trying to like get to know him again after not talking to him for a very long time. And then when I got to know him, when I got to connect with him again, I realized like he's still a piece of shit. It made no sense. Yeah, he's still. It's so much better to have him not have him in my life, because having him in my life just felt like it was continuing like this kind of like cycle.
Yeah, and not only that, you're bringing back all the trauma you
experienced
exactly
with him.
Exactly, and so I would start having these nightmares, these night like terrors of like reoccurring of the incident. And then, so I eventually like, I don't know, I met some random lady, and she ended up kind of like saying, "Oh, you have like a lot of energy." Like she was kind of like a psychic. And then I had a phone call with her, and she like went like right in. I didn't tell her anything, but she went in and even like described my dreams to me. She described like which was one of the rooms in my house. And she described very like detailed information. And then she like was able to kind of get in touch with my grandparents. And this is so my grandma is my mom's mom. And she basically like, she kind of raised me when my mom was going through it. My parents were going through the divorce. I would stay a lot at her house. In the same
area, in the same neighborhood?
Well, at that point she lived more in Orange County. My grandma. Yeah, so I would just go over there for like a month. You got
out the hood for a while.
Yeah, I'd get out for a little bit.
And there's nothing going on in OC at that time.
Yeah,
right?
no.
Not at that time.
It was like the 90s.
So whereabouts in the OC?
It was like Fountain Valley.
Oh dude, yeah, that's...
Yeah.
It's a little different now, but back then it was like nothing.
No.
It still is nothing in Fountain Valley.
A little bit. I mean, there's some stuff going on now.
It's a nice area.
It is a nice area, but they still have problems over there. I mean, things
what
happen.
Problems?
Well, not as much, I guess.
Well, yeah, not as much.
Yeah.
And back then it was even like, whoa.
Compared to Watts, you're right. It's a freaking,
Gardena,
But it's Disneyland, isn't that what?
It was a whole different like environment.
Right.
And my grandparents were like, they had been married forever, and they like loved each other. So like going over there gave me a different perspective.
And these are your dad's parents?
My mom's parents.
Your mom's parents.
Yeah. So going over there, it gave me like this whole different perspective of like what
family
should be like,
right.
you know? And I'm
Unified
so grateful
household.
I had that experience, because if I don't think I would have had that I would not have been able to recognize that this is unhealthy.
Do you somehow question that too? Like, okay, the fact that you finally got to experience what a loving household is, like with your grandparents, and the fact that your mom chose to be opposite of what she probably had growing up. Do you ever like why did my mom choose this?
Yeah, well, I feel like my mom, like sometimes when people are married that long, we don't really, you just see like the outer exterior, like, so there was a lot of stuff that my grandparents had went through during my mom's time.
Oh, okay.
And so those things affected my mom. you know.
Okay.
And so they worked through it because, I mean, back then you don't really divorce, you stay together. They had 8 kids, so I mean, what else were they gonna do?
Yeah, no doubt. It's a lot of kids.
Yeah,
they were busy.
Exactly.
Well,
Turns
who
out.
was it Johnny? Was it Johnny that said
Johnny had
if
his.
I forgot who was it? I mean, forgive me, whoever. Somebody told us this. You know, back in the days, because they were poor, what did they do? They didn't throw away things. They would fix it. The same thing with a marriage. You don't throw away a marriage.
Oh, I
fix
can't
it.
remember though. We did have a guest on that kind of
That
threw
was
that out.
Johnny.
Was it Johnny? It might have been. Yeah.
So that's
yeah.
kind of what the reason I'm saying that is because your grandparents, they probably were.
And we
like,
keep saying Johnny. He pushing fruits LA. He does a Frutetta card.
No, that's George.
George. I'm sorry. Johnny was Chicano
Johnny's
Hollywood.
Chicano
Oh my
Hollywood.
God! Now I'm mixing them up. Woo.
George and Johnny, dude. They
George,
start with
Johnny,
the same-
Jose.
I know.
One.
I'm mixing them all up, man.
Jim, Jack, and Joe.
I mean like not the names, but like
better
the
apologize right
interviews.
now.
The interviews, just the interviews, not the names. Clarification.
Totally messing it up over
I
here.
know.
No, I'm
Sorry
kidding.
about that, man.
No, but that's why I'm saying, you know, the fact that he went, like I said, I'm pretty sure it was Johnny who said that. So when you brought up your grandparents and them having to, like, you know, they fixed their situation, they fixed their marriage.
Right.
It kind of goes back to what that saying is.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't throw away a marriage, you fix it.
Yeah.
But I think nowadays it's a little different, especially
Yeah,
when it's toxic.
Everybody wants to, like, I think their instant gratification now. So it's like
Yeah.
as soon as it's like a hard, or it's like, you know, I don't like this anymore. I don't like the way it feels, so I'm gonna leave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Do your
Yeah.
kids have a lot of questions about like growing up for you and your grandparents and stuff like that, like, or their grandparents and things? You know, do they ask you a lot
I
of
would
things
say
like
more
that?
my son, because
Yeah?
my
Your
son,
oldest?
Yeah, because he didn't know a lot of stuff about his dad.
Mm.
You
Does
know?
he remember anything that?
No,
No?
because he
Okay.
was too little. He was already a baby. Like when our house got raided, he was an infant.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And so, like, I mean, I pretty much left him like before he was like 1, or
Oh,
when he was
okay.
around
That
1.
makes sense.
Wow.
He
That
never
makes
saw
sense.
us together, you know. So like, he doesn't know anything other than that, you know, than us just living, you know, our own lives or whatever. But I think he had more questions about like our old relationship and like his dad's past, because his dad doesn't want to talk about it. His dad doesn't talk about any of it to him. So he would ask me more about that stuff.
I mean, I think I can kind of respect, you know, the dad not wanting to speak on some of his past, because, I mean, what would be the point? I
Yeah.
think for him, it's like, what would be the point of telling my son, yeah, I ran with the gang and I got shot multiple times. I got into this. I got shot again. I almost died. You know.
Yeah, true.
It's a lot.
It's
Yeah.
you know. So for me, I can understand where he's coming from with that.
Yeah. And I mean, now to this day, they still have kind of like his dad is still kind of machismo in a way, you know.
Oh, okay.
And but you know, he works his ass off to pay for my son's like tuition, and he's like, you know, he will go without to make sure that my son has, you know. So I really respect him for till this day. Like I always said, he's a good person. He just had a lot of things happen to affect his childhood, you know. So,
Yeah, there was a lot of, you know, an unfortunate, you know, amount of like things that just occurred that kind of threw him off balance, I guess you could say. You know, getting shot,
going to jail,
Yeah,
multiple times,
almost dying.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you're kind of like, well, fuck life.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that he's doing well and he's working his ass off for his son. Do they have a good relationship?
It's okay. Yeah, I think it's okay. Like, you know, his dad has a hard time opening up about anything, and when my son has a different perspective on things, you know, it's kind of
This generation is different.
Yeah.
Generation is different.
Yeah, totally. So
They're all about expressing themselves.
Yeah. I often like, you know, I'm pretty lucky. Like, you know, when I always hear stories like with Rojo, I think I talk about this quite a bit. When we interview, because my mom and dad were together for 20 years of my life, you know. So I always knew like that structure was always there for me. You know, they didn't get divorced until I was older. You know, so when I hear all the, you know, the backstories of so many people and what they had to go through, like his story has always interested me, because his mom was an alcoholic and was
And a meth addict. And homeless.
And he was from like Baldwin Park, and I was from the neighboring city in La Puente. So, but but it was literally like we were not too far from each other, and our lifestyles were like completely different. And it was like, what the hell? Like, it's just so weird. Like, not even that far from each other, and just a completely different lifestyle. You know, and like, and your kids, they probably see, or your son, but maybe, he was better off not to experience the traumatic, the being traumatized by all this, and not, being around that. It probably helped him maybe in a way. Right now, he's doing his own thing. He doesn't you said he doesn't ask too much, mostly about like, maybe your parents and stuff like that, his grandparents, but not as much as like about your guys' relationship.
No.
Right? So, I mean, does he never says anything at all? I mean, he's going to come home, you were saying today, right? Or
yeah, he's coming home tonight.
That's
he's
pretty cool.
getting his master's degree at the University of Hawaii. University of Hawaii for social work.
Social work, okay.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
that's a good job on your part though, like right? I mean, so you leaving that, scenario, that whole situation, it was beneficial overall for him.
Yeah.
Because now he's doing something big for himself. I mean, first leaving all the way over to island in a no man's land, like by yourself, that's a big thing for a kid to do, to go to college.
Never lived by himself, and he's out there living by himself, figuring it out.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
It shows him independence,
And I
teaches him independence.
And I like to let him sacrifice, suffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should a little.
Yeah.
That's cool.
There's nothing wrong with doing that.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I try to do that with my 16-year-old right now, because you trying to go in the military, you got to have some structure.
Exactly.
And I got to let you figure it out on your own sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not always going to just hand you everything or show you everything. You got to learn it.
Yeah.
Learn it. And then
by
when it gets to a
experience.
point where you can't figure it out, then, okay, I'll come and I'll guide you, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But yeah, like some of these kids, they just want everything handed to them.
Exactly. They don't want to work for nothing.
That drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, man.
Isn't it funny? We always bitch and complain about this generation because it's just...
Well, I mean, come on, man, put some work in.
Yeah,
like, you know what
true.
I'm saying? Like, go get more. Like, there's so much opportunity. Like, I mean, we're listening to your story, right? You had talked earlier that you dropped out of school. You went back to school. You did what you could. You're doing photography. You're doing this project. You're trying to do more. But you don't hear a lot of people trying to do other things anymore. Like, but...
They don't have that struggle though.
Nah, there's not that drive, that passion,
And speaking of drive and passion, so what led you to go into, to figuring out, what, I need to do something for myself. I'm gonna go back to school.
Yeah.
Like, who was there anybody that pushed
Yeah,
you to that, or was it just yourself?
Yeah, where was that turning point?
Yeah, I think
because that's a big thing.
Yeah, it is a hit. And I never grew up seeing that as like a part of my future. I never grew up thinking like, oh, I'd go to college, because that wasn't necessarily in my environment. So I definitely feel like that was more of like when I started working and I started seeing like all these people I had a colleague and she was around my age and she was in college. And so like I would talk to her about it, and then so like kind of realizing like, oh man, a lot of these people have like degrees or they're in college, like maybe I should do that. And then realizing like I was the only income, so I was always struggling. I was raising my kid by myself, and so it was just like, okay, I need to like figure out how to make more income, or how to just be like do something else besides this like kind of like a dead-end job that I was in. And so like I just realized like, okay, I have some support with like my ex's family that was able to babysit him and so I just decided, okay, I need to go back to school. I need to do something, because if I don't, and then I actually had one person tell me, she was like a coworker, and she was like, the time is gonna pass regardless. Like the time is going to go by regardless, so might as well like make something,
learn something while you're at it,
do something with your time. And then to me that like really, I was like, wow, my kid, yeah, you're right, in like 2 years he's going to be in school, or he's going to be, that time is going to go by so fast, so maybe at this I can utilize this time to do something. And so it took me a really long time to even figure out how to get in school, because I didn't even know how to do that. I had dropped out. First step, I didn't know where to go, where to start. And then I went to like community college and tried to talk to the advisors, and they weren't really helpful. They would kind of guide me, and they're like, oh, here's the roadmap. But like, I don't even know how to look at this damn ass roadmap.
Yeah.
Like, what the
Go here and then turn left here.
Yeah. And then you got to make this account and do all this. I was like, bro, like this, I don't
Like,
know what
help
I'm
me here.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Trust me, I recently enrolled in college and I was lost. I was lost. It's a lot easier, but still I was lost.
And even just trying to learn how to study and trying to learn how to like take notes and
you
do
got
all these things.
a baby.
Yeah.
Man.
I was just like, I don't even. So I'm luckily, like, I feel like people are always put in your life for a reason, either to teach you a lesson or whatever.
Don't we always say that?
Yeah.
So I feel like at that point there were actually people that were actually like helping me to
And you have help now though too, right? With the kids and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my mom has never really been a help. So I could always count on, and that was the one thing too. I was like, you know what? I know my mom is not gonna help. So I kind of have to count on myself. I have to almost parent myself. And so like, what would I tell my kid in this situation? You know, so I was always kind of came at like, well, I got to figure this out, because, you know, I want to be able to help him. So I have to learn how to do some of this myself. And so, like, that's kind of how
that might be the biggest influence that you had on him. Now hearing that he goes to, you know, University of Hawaii, and, you know, that he's pursuing college to, like, you know, better himself. Yeah. And then, you know, maybe it's not that maybe he is looking to you as an example and saying, well, my mom did it. And despite that, she had all these fucked up setbacks, you know what I mean? Where, like, you know, now if he sees this, he's gonna know some things that have happened, like where, you know, with his dad, and, you know, in the past what has happened in those experiences. But he knows that, okay, well, she, you know, had to go through all that. So why can't I put it on my back and I go for what I need to go for?
He has communicated that, you know, like, wow, you know, like, I was able to grow up seeing you always in school and always studying. You know, and I eventually went back to USC. I went to USC and got a master's degree.
Wow.
And so during my divorce, I just needed something to distract me from that bullshit.
Not a bad distraction.
So I ended up getting into USC at the time. And then so he kind of told me, he was like, man, throughout my whole childhood, I've always seen you, like, you know, struggle. I always seen you, like, figure out how to go to college and how to do this. Like, I would be doing a disservice if I didn't do it myself.
Right.
Like, he's like, I always saw you as an example. So he did tell me that. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Were there ever times where it got to a breaking point where you were just like, fuck all this? Like,
all the time.
Even probably till this day,
I mean,
right?
it's probably a stupid question, but
she probably got in the car on the way over here and said, fuck all this.
Yeah, I know, right?
What the fuck did I sign up for? Yeah.
She's all, I'm gonna go sit in the car for these two idiots.
Yeah.
I just heard it on the phone. I just saw it on the phone. These guys, I'm really gonna sit in traffic for 2 hours with these guys.
Damn.
Sorry. We like to punch at each other once in a while. You'll see, we do it a lot.
We have to.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's cool.
What was that?
It's not about you guys. It was about Renee.
That's right.
True.
It's about Renee.
That's true. It's about Renee.
But
so going through some of those breaking points, what still helped you to get out of that?
I think.
And the reason I asked this is just because, again, I just started school. I'm a lot older. You know, I have 2 kids, and I have homework due tonight.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, and I'm already. It's only my 2nd week, and I'm already at a breaking point. Like, can I really do this shit? What am I doing?
Yeah,
Look at you.
Yeah.
You're gonna be late. I have zero confidence. You like that?
Thanks.
Sorry.
Be an hour before typing your paper.
Total train
Do
wreck.
at 11:59 p.m.
Yeah.
Total train wreck.
I am totally gonna do ChatGPT for some of it.
Look at you. Hey man, there's that thing where that guy in UCLA, did you guys see that photo where he's like, after he got his degree, he held up his laptop in the crowd and he showed him ChatGPT.
That's wild.
What are you gonna do? Take his degree away? You already gave it to him.
Yeah, exactly. He already made the credits.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a true story, dude.
Yeah.
Look it up. No, it's true. Fox 11, Channel 5, all of them had it.
Oh wow.
It's pretty funny.
Okay, I got.
If I was a UCLA admin guy, I would be pissed.
Yeah.
But like, I'd be like, what? Are you kidding me?
Or a professor
Or
that
a
probably
professor-
graded him
Oh,
on
Right?
that paper.
But then again, professors now, that even like my professor says that they have these AI things that they can look and they can actually compare what's AI, what's not.
I believe that.
Yeah.
So
It's a
how did
tool.
that guy?
They
get
had like
away
some
with
kind
it?
of detector, right? It
Yeah.
can like
Has to
read
be.
if it's been like if that's been plagiarized.
Mhm.
That's crazy. What a crazy world we're in. Like AI heading that direction.
Imagine if we would have had ChatGPT back then.
Whew.
Ooh,
Man.
no.
No, we had
That
freaking
I would have
design your own-
graduated high school.
yeah. Design your own stupid MySpace with this dumbass code. What the hell?
no HTML codes.
Yeah, right. Simple ass HTML. What was wrong with this? Hey, Cindy, this is cool. We want to talk to you too about your urban lens.
Well, before we get
stuff, too.
sidetracked, I had asked her what got
Oh.
her out of those breaking
Oh
points.
yeah, you didn't
Oh,
get to
yeah,
that final, breaking point where like I got to change all of it. You're right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, there would be times when I would be like, "Fuck, I've been gotten like 2 hours of sleep. I'm dying. I have to write this paper. Like, I can't do this, But then I don't know. It just felt like, I didn't come all this way and go through all this to give up now. Like, if I give up now, I think I would look back and I would heavily regret that decision. So am I making a decision out of like my emotion and how am I feeling right now? Or am I making like an actual decision out of logic? And so when I would kind of like think about like, okay, I'm just emotional. I'm tired. I'm hungry, whatever. I'm experiencing anxiety.
Baby's crying.
Anxiety because I don't know. I'm going into something that I've never done before. That I'm like I have no clue. Like fear of the unknown kind of
Right.
thing. So I would always like, okay, well, like, is this really valid? I have a fear that I'm going to fail. I have a fear that I'm not going to turn in this paper on time. I have a fear that it's going to get harder and I'm not going to know what
That's
to do.
how I'm feeling this all the time.
But it was
You're
like,
feeling it right there in the chair. I could tell. I could see it.
But you know
You're
what?
turning red. You okay?
Good.
You want to cut?
No, I'm good.
Oh, it's the
Go ahead.
lighting?
I just want to cry, but keep going.
But yeah, I knew that like, I just had to kind of push through, and eventually once I did it, I would feel like a sense of overwhelming and accomplishment that I figured it out, that I was able to like get over my fear and actually go and do it and get it. And it kind of like build your confidence after a while, and then you'd realize like, oh, okay, like I kind of tackled that. Now I know what to expect the next time. Now I know maybe I should prepare ahead of time or whatever, But it was always some kind of obstacle.
I know exactly that feeling. I turned in my first essay last week, and I felt accomplished.
Yeah.
I felt like I just conquered
Fuck
the whole
yeah.
world. I was like,
Nice.
nice. Yeah, this is easy.
I
No, it's
got
not.
this.
Yeah.
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
No.
And then probably checking every 5 minutes. Did they grade it yet? Did they
Yeah.
grade it yet?
Oh yeah. I was on it, and I still got a 10 out of 10. So I was like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was good. So I know the feeling. I mean, but obviously you accomplished way more. I'm barely even put my feet in, barely touching
we all
the water
start
right
somewhere,
now. Yeah,
That's right.
Got to give yourself some credit.
That's true. No, a lot of credit to you, especially being able to hold it down. Single mother, young kid, trying to raise a kid, and not having the right guidance or the structure or even household for that matter.
No, yeah, it was hard, and I went in when I went into speech therapy. It's like a really competitive field. It's like nursing, so it's really hard to get into. Once you get in, they have like weed out classes that are incredibly hard, neurology and all these like really hard anatomy, physiology.
Damn.
And I would cry. Because I would be amongst these kids that like were just living at home, and they they're privileged and they didn't really have to pay or do much, and then I would get C's or D's, and in that field you have to have a certain GPA. So those would really affect me if I would just get 1 C, but all A's and 1 C, because it would bring down, and I would cry. I would go home and I would be crying like, I'm stupid, I can't figure this out. But then it was just realizing like I can't compare myself to people who are not in the same position as me, and then also like this experience. I'm already a parent. A lot of these students are not parents. They're going into a field where you're going to be working with kids. That gave me an advantage. So I started like kind of having to change my mindset. Like I am going to bring something to this field. I'm a brown kid from a low income area, marginalized community.
Yeah.
All these kids are mostly white and Asian in this field, and I'm part Asian, but they have a little bit more privilege at least.
Yeah.
And so I realized, like, you know what? No, I have to get through this. Like, I have to do this because, like, we need more of these we need more in our black and brown people in our field to represent us and to go back into the hood and to do this work. It's that whole mindset of like, once you make it, you leave the hood and you don't come back. That's like actually hurting the hood. We need examples. So that's what kind of would help me. Because I would be like, okay, well, when I would talk to some of my professors and like they had all these years of experience with working with kids, and I would talk about my experience of being a parent. And so like it gave them a different type of respect for me. Like, oh wow, you're juggling all that, and then these kids are getting A's some of these kids are getting B's and they're not even juggling half of what you're juggling. So I think a lot of professors would kind of sometimes give me a little bit of like grace,
leniency.
Yeah. And then there was at one point I was breastfeeding and I was in class. Well, I would have to take breaks and go into another room and go breastfeed.
Wow.
Dang. And go pump, Damn. And so I think it
You're
like
committed.
Yeah. So it like, especially at that point, I was like almost done.
Right.
I only had a few more classes and I was done. So I was like, I had a baby and went back in 2 weeks and took a midterm.
Damn.
So
Yeah.
And we're over here like, barely trying to.
I don't even know.
You over here complaining about spreadsheets, bro.
My spreadsheets, yeah.
Spreadsheets.
Yeah, you over here talking about your damn spreadsheets.
I got a deadline.
I got a deadline with them spreadsheets.
So I was just like, yeah, there's a will, there's a way. And I was just like, at this point, like, I have to finish. Like, I cannot take a break. If I take a break, I know it'll highly increase my chance of not going back.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, that's kind of how that ended up happening.
I mean, that's a hell of a story right there.
The next time you want to
I
bitch and complain about any of your spreadsheets.
think about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Breastfeeding in between breaks one of her classes. Huh?
But all jokes aside, I really love the fact that we were able to get her story. It's just because there are so many women out there that have, probably had similar experiences.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Being a single mother, trying to get educated, doing it all on her own.
And
no,
man, it is
no
hard.
parents around there.
It is
Especially
hard,
I think it's a lot harder for a woman to try to get through these hurdles because they're, they do get stereotyped a lot. And it's like, oh, another one Latina with a baby. Trying to say she ain't gonna make it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing you
right
say,
away.
she ain't gonna make
or
it.
man, if I hire her, she's gonna have to take time off. She's gonna have to like take care of the baby, blah blah blah. So
you would hope that people don't do that, but they do.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Exactly.
All the time. And we're like, oh, not me. You're full of shit. Just like the next person. You know what I mean? Like, I don't buy that at all. But that's huge, and it goes to credit to the type of character that you are, and then why you're here, so and why we want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's exactly the type of stories we want to share just because, we've gone through our own ups and downs. It's even growing up and even from just a few years ago. But to just hear other people's stories on like from where they come from, what they went through, what they did to get out, not necessarily like get up out of the hood, but to like get out from a situation that would have probably just been recycled on your first kid, so much credit to you.
Thank you.
You grinded it out, you hustled your way into school, got your degree, got your master's as well, right? From USC. Okay, and then after that, so aside from you pursuing a career in speech therapy, what led you to getting into photography?
Well, because I was working in those areas and I saw what was going on with Jordan Downs, I started talking to my clients more about what their experience was growing up there. And, I work with kids, so I just love working with kids, and I love like kids from the hood because they're so real and they're so great, and they'll tell you how it is. And so I started
honesty.
I love it. I
used to work for the Boys and Girls Club of Pomona, man. We had some
some stories, right?
Cutthroat.
Dude.
I like it.
I love them.
Yeah. It was awesome, though. It was awesome.
They remind
But
me of
it
the
was-
kids that I grew up with. So there's a certain sense of like nostalgia.
Yeah.
That
But also just, oh my God. Yeah. We can get into that later. More about
some
you.
baby kids.
Yeah.
Some
Oh.
baby kids, straight
Oh,
up.
man.
Come get your kids.
Babies, kids.
Yeah.
Just, everything. It was everything.
Is that why? I mean, you wanted to help them out too when you started your project with them? Like, is it because like the connection that you were making with
Yeah,
them? Because you're like, I
exactly.
love how they are. Like, is that what got you excited
Absolutely.
about working with them?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I knew these kids like personally there, so, camera lady, they
Camera
already
lady.
know me.
They already called you camera lady. They already had like a nickname for you.
Yeah, so it's like that was my next step. I was like, man,
I'm
I
sure
gotta
you had
get
some
these
photogenic
kids.
kids.
Yeah, I just had some kids that were just like, okay, when I hold the camera, you're gonna do this, and you're gonna do, they're already like envisioning
Wow.
where they wanted to go with like their photography.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I was like, oh my God, I gotta cultivate this. Like I gotta get and a lot of these schools, they don't get that. A lot of the arts and programs are cut.
Oh, they
Arts-
completely cut that out.
yeah,
now, right?
exactly. And that's so great, especially for kids on the spectrum or, anything, kids who have gone through trauma or kids and for their own self-exploration. Like art, music, it's wonderful. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. And so cutting that is like really is really debilitating these kids from an outlet that they might be, not all kids are great in sports.
Right.
Like and all in the hood you only have like sports, like football, basketball, all these.
And the percentage of people actually making it, to the pros or whatever, making a good decent amount of money off that is pretty low.
Exactly.
You have a higher percentage doing more art stuff like in photography or music or whatever it is, actually following a career doing stuff like that. Like a better opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
for my picture project, does anyone ever reach out to you to try and like give you resources for these kids? Like, just, I don't know, old equipment or things like that?
Yeah,
Like,
I
hey.
have. Well, I kind of messed up and I forgot my password to the Instagram, so I haven't been able to log in. I actually have to like now create a whole new page.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I actually had the kids name it my picture project. That was one of their projects, was to name the class. So some of the
okay.
kids
Picture
named
project.
it
I
that.
like the name.
Well, when you rename it, let us know. We'll put it. We'll put it
I'm
on
gonna
our.
have the same name.
We'll
I just
put it
have
on
to
there.
make a different Instagram.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So unfollow.
Right. So
Follow
just
the
scratch
new
that.
one. Yeah, the new one that I'm
We'll
gonna
figure
make.
that part
Yeah,
out. It'll be in the description below somewhere
exactly.
when the time comes. But it's really cool that you open them up to that. There's not a lot of people in communities like that do that.
Yeah.
Like they're more like, I don't want to help this kid. I don't want to do anything for them. Do cities ever reach out to you? Like, say, like if you're in like Compton or whatever, and say like, hey, we have money for that. Let's allocate some money for your program.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah?
Yeah, I have. I've worked with another. It's like a private school in Watts, and they provided all the supplies and everything. And then we had a 6-week program there. And then I'm also going to be working with another one coming up, and they're going to be providing a stipend for me to have the
Nice.
program. And that's in Compton, or they're based in Compton, but they go to different. Like they're going to have one in Long Beach, I think.
Okay, so you're getting the
Yeah.
backing that you need.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah,
And you
so-
want to see that expand though, right? This project that you're working on.
I would, yeah, eventually. I think like I'm still tweaking it because I developed the curriculum, and so I'm still kind of developing it in a way that can be like appropriate for different audiences. Because this particular nonprofit or community-based organization, they work specifically with like kids on the spectrum.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to kind of rework my lecture, I guess you would say, curriculum. So I think I'm trying to still find like my sweet spot. I feel like I really love like 4th grade, because they still have that like spirit about them. Like they haven't been damaged by social media and their friends,
They're still hungry
Yeah.
for something. Yeah,
exactly. Because I did one with middle schoolers or like almost middle schoolers. Oh my God, it was just like, oh my God, these these kids are getting my nerves.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do it. I was like, no. And then
It's
if
different.
they're too little, then they still haven't like really developed their personalities haven't really developed as much, you know. I think at that fourth grade, they're kind of like fifth grade, they're kind of like, they're still assertive. They kind of know what they want. They're assertive. They're able to like kind of communicate, you know, like, oh, I don't like that, or I don't want to take that picture. And, you know, and at the last class, they had like a gallery. So they had like a gallery, and then parents would be able to scan a QR code, and then it would go into the reason why they picked that picture as their favorite to be shown.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we would have a critique the week before. So they would swap pictures with other kids, and they would kind of go over their other partner or their other students' pictures to kind of like pick which ones they wanted to narrow it down to. So I think like that age was a great age because they were still able to be honest and still like kind of spunky, you know, where they wouldn't be so critical about what other people thought, like what their friends thought.
Right.
So I feel like still making sure that I kind of stay in that range. But I'm also trying to do different, you know, like with this other group that works with kids on the spectrum. Okay. They have some funds for art and photography, music kind of piece. They're more sports, but they have some funding. So that's where I'm going to have a little segment of my program there. But yeah, it's trying to figure out the audience and trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to get to these kids in a way that's like, that's meaningful, but also something's going to stick.
Yeah, because it sounds like you already found a way to keep them engaged and you know they want to come and learn, right? Yeah. And now, you know, trying to find the way to, you know, get the program going for them.
Exactly.
I mean, I hope that there's something out there that, you know, pushes it for the, you know, that someone or something out there to push, you know, this program, because you know, we were reading about it and I'm like, that'd be cool. Like, I mean, nobody ever offered that even in where I grew up. Like, you know, it was just like, you go to school, there's a class for it, like, or maybe the community center, like for an hour, once a month, maybe, if that, you know, but like photography or whatever.
Photography wasn't cool back then.
No,
it wasn't. But now it's like, you know, everybody wants to. But there's got to be a way to do it. Like everybody wants to be a photographer, but there is a way to do it. There's a way to go about it.
How did you connect with Urban Lens? How did that come about?
Well, through Renee. I met him. I was actually in a different photography kind of exhibit. It was called To Live and Die in LA, and I was in that for I don't know which one is it on now, the 5th year or
They're on their
6th year. Okay, so
isn't that coming up again?
Yeah.
So I think I was involved in the 2nd and 3rd year, I think, and then, you know, I ended up meeting him through you know, through Instagram, following each other and stuff. And that's how we end up when he came across Urban Lens and he had this opportunity, you know, he reached out to me, and that's how that came about.
He told us you were a little bit resistant at first and not kind of for it at first. Was it only because of, I don't know. Yeah, was it because of was it because of location, or you just didn't?
I just didn't feel like I had the time for it you know, I had just had the baby, and it just seemed like I think at that time he wasn't really sure how long it was going to last. He said it was, you know, he wasn't sure how long he had the space, but it was for a few months. So then me thinking like, oh man, I'm going to have to like change out my pictures. I'm going to change out my exhibit every now and then go and volunteer. A part of it was volunteering, and, you know, and I just didn't feel like volunteering, opening the space and sometimes cleaning up and then having to remove our stuff. And it just seemed like a lot of commitment at the time. So I wasn't really sure if I wanted to kind of be involved in that.
Yeah, it would be a lot to do on that end. You had some pretty cool work up there. I mean, we were taking a look at it. We'll put it on our YouTube.
Is there
below
a certain portrait or picture, I should say, that stands out to you the most, like the one that you carry dear to your heart?
Yeah, I think there's one of these 2 twin girls, and they're riding like a little mechanical bull. It was during like their summer festival, and that one's my favorite because it just shows like the pure like joy in that moment. It's such a natural. I really love, like, my thing is always taking pictures in the moment. I don't really like to post people. I don't really like to like, oh, can you do that again? Yeah. Can you do that thing again? Because I feel like then I'm trying to recreate a moment that I had already passed. So I really love taking pictures like in the moment of when it happens, and sometimes with people not even knowing, or sometimes, you know. So I feel like that picture is like the epitome of like really capturing like
Because you're capturing a true moment.
A true moment in time that cannot be redone.
Natural and organic.
It's an organic moment that just could not. I like, even if I went back and say, hey, can you do that again? It wouldn't be the same.
Not the same feeling.
Yeah. So I feel like that was just it's just, when you look at it, it just, I don't know. It's like the kids, they're little twin girls. And you could see that it's like the projects in the background. And,
Okay.
you know, and so in another sense, it's creating like another layer that like there's all these like, you know, stereotypes about growing up in the projects or being in the projects. So, but you're seeing that these kids are just having like this pure, joyful like moment in there. And that those are a lot of moments that happen in the projects, you know?
Yep.
Those are a lot of moments that happen with families.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that are not gang members and are not they're just working class people. So I feel like that picture is like captures all of that, you know, in that one like image.
I read something that where you kind of started a lot of your work with just disposable cameras, like just taking cameras with the little
90s, yeah,
35
90s
millimeter,
baby, yeah,
like
Wind
spinning
it
a
up.
little reel and like going for it,
yeah,
get it developed.
going to car shows.
Do you still do that now? Just to like, you know, get
I
that
do.
old feel?
Yeah, I do. I that's what I was giving my kids in the first like pilot program I had.
Oh,
I was
cool.
giving them but I would limit it. Okay, so we're gonna go, you know, take pictures of whatever. I'd give them an assignment, and then I'd like, you can only take 3 or 4 pictures. So it kind of taught them to kind of manage what they were like going to. They couldn't just go click. Like the iPhone, we can go and just take all kinds of pictures and not even really think about it. It kind of had to teach them to kind of be critical about their eye and what they're going to take their picture with, you know, what they're going to use their film for. So like I was like, and it was great. I was like, I would develop the pictures, and it would just, you know, it's kids, so like they take pictures of their friends, and they take pictures of like whatever, their shoes or
it's
something.
just candid.
Yeah.
Like they're just doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And then,
like,
you know, and it's disposable camera, so it has that like grainy, sometimes the lighting isn't
Raw.
good. Yeah, the lighting isn't good. But then you get like a different the lighting isn't good from a sense that it's not like perfect, but you still get a sense of what the kid was trying to capture. So like, and that's what I mean. I still love disposable cameras, and like, it just gives you a whole different, you know, perspective of maybe like what either of us or the kid was trying to capture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also did get a chance to look at your portfolio on, I think it's your website, Cindy Esarcega. You get that? .com. And I saw what I did. See,
you did great.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, it's just the emphasis on the Sega.
I figure if I emphasize it, then I do a little bit better, you know. And then I see that you went to like Cuba, Mexico, took a bunch of pictures. I mean, out there, you know, like there was some of your featured work on your website, in Cuba and
Mexico.
Mexico, Japan. Wow. So you traveled all these places. Is it just to shoot, or was there?
No, just to travel. I've been to Dubai. I've been to Romania, Germany, France, Cuba, Japan.
By invitation or just all on your own?
Just, I don't know, Canada. I just like to travel. I just like to like learn different people's experiences.
You took your family with you? Or was it just you?
It was just me on some of them.
Okay.
Yeah, some of them are. I'm going to Costa Rica in July. I'm taking my kids with.
Pretty cool.
Taking my kids then.
That's cool. They're kids going to Costa Rica.
And I like to rough it. You know, I like to like.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I've kind of like, I've traveled to one place. I stayed there for like a week or something, and then went to another place and jumped around to just get different experiences of different cultures. And
not taking the hubby with you, huh?
No. Maybe
he's gone with me to Mexico like a lot. Yeah, but some of them I didn't meet him yet.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
My baby's dad, the 2-year-old, I've been with him for like 4 or 5 years, maybe now.
Okay.
Yeah. And
that's
then
cool.
My ex-husband, I went to Cuba with him, and then when I graduated, that's when I did like Dubai, Romania. That was kind of like my graduation gift to myself. I went with my cousin.
Not a bad gift.
Not a bad at all. Yeah.
And you got some pretty cool shots. Head on over to Cindy Esarcega.
I went to a backyard party for my graduation.
Oh, nice. Me too. And I got a TV in my living room.
I didn't get a TV.
You know what I mean? My parents. It's awesome. We could do right there in La Puente. My dad's all the pool lights on. You go in the pool. I'm like, I just graduated. It's all good. What, that's it. I'm like,
That's it.
Shit.
That's all we got.
This is great.
Is there anything that you want to share in regards to like, you know, anybody out there that, you know, might be going through it just like what you had to go through, you know, especially specifically like for the females, the girls out there, the young girls out there trying to go through it. If they happen to, you know, run into this interview, what would be your advice to them?
Oh man, it's a hard one. I would say, like, you know, everybody has some level of trauma. Like, nobody is perfect, you know, and I think the only way we can really change our future, like, I felt like for me, I didn't want to live. I had a hard childhood, right? And I just got to a point where I just was tired of being sad. I was tired of being involved in drama, and I was tired of like
dwelling in your own sorrows.
Yeah, being depressed and just feeling like I was tired of life, you know? So I feel like there's like traveling opened up so much for me, you know, to just experiencing the world and just for myself. And I think like when you get to a point, it's important to ask yourself, like, what do you want out of your life? You know, we all have a purpose. I believe we all have like some kind of gift, and sometimes maybe capitalism or some of these structures in place, they kind of suppress us from realizing like the art programs, right?
Yeah.
That being taken away.
Yeah.
And if kids on the spectrum who like really thrive in those, it's taken away. So you get kind of innately beat down and feel like you're not good enough, you know, but it's just finding your outlet and finding what you are good at, because we're all good at something, you know, even if it's just empathy with other people, or if it's math, whatever it is.
Or spreadsheets.
Spreadsheets are if the spreadsheets are your jam, go for it.
You know what I mean? It pays the bills. I mean, I do. That's okay. I've been getting more into editing these days because that's probably why the podcast stuff. But I do want to kind of go in that direction, you know. But
yeah.
So, but I do love that you know, that you put that in perspective as far as, you know, going for it, because listening to your story growing up, you know, and having, you know, kids young, and, you know, your what you've seen, someone nearly die in front of you, and taking care of that person, and then going to school, and then getting your master's and going through all that, and now you're to this point here. And then when we heard that, you know, you wanted to, you know, do this program for kids, and then you got all your kids, and you're trying to do all this stuff. It's like, well, damn. Well, when do you have time for you, like, to do what you do? And I guess what you like to do is the photography stuff. That's the program and the project you want to do. So I think that's a great advice that you would tell somebody that, you know.
Yeah.
Any kids that are out there that are listening, that listen to it. But we're an explicit show, so we don't get the check mark for the kids. We don't, right? Yeah. Is that right, Renee? We get the not check mark about explicit show. No. They're like, nope, not those guys. Yeah, I think that's how it works, guys. They're like, nope, those guys not for the kids. That's all right though, and we don't do it that much though. We're not like our old show. Like how we used to be.
That one was bad. We won't talk about that.
No, we won't talk about that. But it's really cool that you came through. We really appreciate it, and there are a couple things that we want to promote for you too, because there have been some cool exhibits that you've done. To Live and Die in LA, Full Bloom, and then you also done, of course, the Urban Lens Gallery with Renee. And if you guys want to check that out, you got to head over to her website. It's Cindy Esarcega.com. Without Sega, yeah, I said that.
I'm just
with the G, yeah.
Specifying with a G.
Oh, I got you, yeah. So .com, and I didn't.
I'm not making fun of you.
Oh, okay. I thought you were doing.
I'm trying to just like
it's all good.
Assist.
Oh, thanks,
in
man.
making sure that people understand it's got Sega.
I appreciate that. And also, do you do gigs like privately as well, like to be hired, or is it just just trying to focus on working on the art and then doing the project stuff with the kids?
Yeah, I think like that's sometimes cool. if it's like becomes monetary, then sometimes I get like a lot of pressure to put, like I get pressure, and sometimes some of the passion goes away, you know. So like I was saying, I kind of like the naturalness of capturing things in a specific like. So I kind of prefer more like photojournalism type things.
Okay,
makes sense.
Because I feel like that's more my forte than.
There's different classifications.
I'm starting to realize that now.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like I like storytelling. You know, I like storytelling and getting to like kind of like the understanding the depths of like a person or the kid of like to get like a different perspective. And I feel like sometimes some events it could be like,
you're like, eh.
Yeah, there's no emotion. I just gotta pose people.
Professional.
And she's like, and don't try to hire me for weddings.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
No, quinceañeras,
not
no.
up for it, guys.
No.
All right. So we're gonna shut that down right now.
Just letting you guys know.
All right,
right
we just
now.
gotta be honest about it. Hey, Cindy, do us a favor and go ahead and break out all your socials for us. We've already gave out your .com, but is there any, where can they reach out on Instagram, or are you on TikTok, or wherever they can see your portfolio as well?
Instagram is the same. It's _ Cindy CINDY _ Esarcega. And then I have TikTok. I'm not very active on it. But I would say that's probably the best spot is Instagram. And then that leads to my link tree that has like my website and any other.
Are you gonna get a coffee table book soon? Photography like Renee has one.
I want to.
Renee's is pretty cool. Have you seen Renee's?
Yeah, I have.
His
I
is
actually
cool.
bought his.
You did?
Which he owes me.
Oh.
Don't bring it up. His face, just his face was great.
Hey, speaking of that book, we need to have one here for display.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna. You know what we should do? We should
decorate this
video
table.
it. We should video it, and then we'll eventually put it on our socials and everything.
Yeah.
Which is at tapped in _ media on TikTok and Instagram. But that's really cool that you came out here for us, and we
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah,
Thank you
really
for-
appreciate
thank
you.
you for
Really
giving me the
appreciate the
time.
fact that you were able to open up about your story, your upbringing, and all that. So
yeah.
this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is what it's all about. I do have a quote.
Yes. So we always end the show with an inspirational quote. It's kind of something that we started doing.
I wanted to hear from the people though. Should we continue doing that, or is it too like?
We thought it was corny at first.
Corny.
We were like, man, this is mad corny, son.
Cringe.
Make it, dude. It's mad cringe, bro. Like, nah, we weren't sure. We were like, forget it.
What's that?
I like that.
You do?
Yeah, I
Okay,
like
well,
it. So
we wanna know if
we
they
brought
like
it
it.
up, and then we were like, fuck it. We're like, it's our show. Like, we were gonna do it, and like, it's probably mad corny, but we don't really care. My
Yeah,
kid,
yeah.
But the reason why we do it too is because it goes with the whole aspect of what our
right? An
podcast
inspirational story of somebody who we talked
Yeah.
to, like your story.
So this quote is, and it's for, it's a motivational quote for women. And the strongest actions for a woman is to love herself, be herself, and shine amongst those who never believed she could.
Nice,
I love
man.
it.
Look at you,
That is an
prepared.
awesome one. Yeah.
That's not in the notes.
It's not.
Look at you. You're writing a separate note on me.
No, I just.
No, I just kidding. I like that.
Like ninja.
I like
He's
it. I
like
like
a
it. though.
ninja. Came in.
Well, thanks again, Cindy, for coming
Thank
out.
you so
and
much.
thank you, Renee,
and
for coming
hopefully
out.
you enjoy that
I know,
burrito,
I
courtesy
am,
of our
I am.
sponsor,
Yeah.
Taco Bell Good.
Talk about good. Thanks, Javier, for supplying the food tonight again, and we really appreciate that. And thank you, of course, to everybody that always tunes in and checks out all the interviews. Hit us up if you haven't. Like and subscribe on our YouTube channel at Tapped In Media. Go back and look at the the piece that we just did in Inglewood. It was awesome. We had a really good time with Hersony, Dalseed Coffee. It was really, really good production by Andy Q. Check it out. Give it a like. Give it a sub. You already know what to do. And give us a follow, man. We appreciate your time, and take care of yourselves out there. Thanks, everybody.